My favorite memories of Grandma and Grandpa are whenever me and my sister would go sleep over at their house, because it was always really fun. We would like play board games with them, and then we would like go to bed, and me and Addie would always like put pillows on the ground in case we like fell over, and they'd always like sing to us before we went to sleep. It was really sweet. And once it was 8, we were allowed to go wake them up, and we would always like really slowly, quietly like open our door and like crawl down the hallway and then like open their door, and then me and Addie would be like, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we'd like jump on them, and that was really fun. And now whenever I like walk down the hallway, I always like remember that. Whenever I like sleep in like the grandkids room, I always like remember that, and it's a good memory.
Wow, I wrote some down. One is reading books before sleepovers, which we would always read books about little canoes or about cows or dogs. I liked those books. Also, walking around Paris together with Grandma and Grandpa and Travis and my mom and my dad, and getting crepes and that kind of thing. Very fun.
I remember when I was a kid and we were at church at big, huge Our Mother of Confidence, and Mom and Dad would do like the Eucharist ministry, like they would go up and do the bread and wine and stuff. And I remember sitting in the pews with Tim and Juliet and thinking about them up there and thinking of how they like reminded me of like a salt and pepper shaker. How like they were like a perfect match, the two of them. And just like, you know, after all these years and all these places they've been, and in some ways they're just like teenagers walking in front of us holding hands, walking through, you know, through Paris.
My favorite memory of my mom is, it's actually a sound. When I was growing up, her sewing machine was against her wall that shared a wall with my closet in my little bedroom next to theirs. And when I would go to bed at night, I could hear the sewing machine motor going, and it was like that really like safe, I'm at home, my mom's right over there, maybe sewing something for me. I don't know, it's just a really calming feeling, so that's a fun memory. And then I have lots of memories of my dad helping me with my math homework in the den, the study, in the back little room of the house, and always ready to like make practice questions for me to do and stuff like that. So those are 2 fun memories I have. And then I want to add on a favorite memory of both of them together was the morning of my last day of high school. They came marching out of their bedroom, and I don't remember exactly what they were wearing, but I know my dad had on slippers that were supposed to look like duck feet, and I know they had tennis rackets that they were using to march with. And I know they had weird stuff on, like they looked really, really funny, but they went parading around the house like, Juliet's last day of high school! So that's a really fun memory. I have of both of them together doing something funny.
Well, my favorite memory of them, I have 2 things. The first one is very recent, when we spent a whole 10 days living together with them in the house in Paris, or outside of Paris in Sartreville. That was really, really fun. It was so great getting up every morning and being together and having breakfast together and hearing Juliet and Papa Jim speak French so well and figure out how to buy bus passes and train passes and every other kind of pass. So that memory was just fantastic. And the other one is just all the different baseball games that we've gone to together, whether it's been the whole family or just Corey and I and Papa and Grandma. It's just been so great to be there and enjoy that experience with them. It's been a lot of fun.
My favorite memory of Grandma was when I was little and Mom would invite me to their house, and I'd spend all of the afternoons with her, and we'd paint rocks, and we would do art together, and read books, and watch VeggieTales, and yeah, that's my favorite memory of Grandma. My favorite memory of Papa is when I was also younger, when I used to ask about all his different cases at work, and I got to learn about that. That was fun too.
I think my favorite memory of Papa and Grandma would probably be whenever we go to Mammoth, because we always have lots of fun. No matter what we're doing, we like put music on, or we just play games and talk, and we never really have like a dull moment. It's always lots of fun to just hang out with everybody.
I think my favorite memory was for the 50th anniversary, and when we went to Kauai, and when we went on the catamaran. That was one of my favorite parts of going to Kauai. Another one was when we were kicking around on the waves and we found the tire, the tank tire. That was cool.
My favorite memory of Papa Jim and Mama Khaki are actually from when I met Tim again in 1992. We were at Loyola Marymount University for President's Day, and we were there for a seminar, and they were excited to see me, couldn't wait to tell me about what was going on with Tim, and it was this amazing, overwhelming moment of love and seeing each other again in reunion and falling in love all over again. So it's a really great moment of everybody together.
My favorite memory I think I would have, as there are many, but if there's one I can think of that would set the standard, would probably be the first major vacation we went on when we went to Mount Lassen for the first time. I'm in first grade, and it was exciting, but it was a great time, and it's just beautiful, and there's family memories, and it was great climbing to the top of Mount Lassen. That's great.
Grandma and Grandpa both have had a lot of love and gentleness and affection and understanding and empathy and friendliness, and it's something that's really helped me gain those characteristics and I think be a better person in life towards other people and my family.
Okay, so let's see. So Mom is very enthusiastic and optimistic and positive. And then Dad is that way too, but I guess the thing that stands out more for me about him is reliable, predictable, and dependable, trustworthy, honest. When he became a judge and people were sharing about him and someone said they'd never heard him say a bad thing about anybody, that would sound like hyperbole to most people, but I believe that, to be true because I haven't.
My favorite quality of theirs is how creative they are. No matter what they're doing, what they're up to, they always find new ways to do things.
A quality that describes both of them is caring for others. Ever since I can remember, both my parents always wanted to go out of their way to help other people. Dad always worked towards helping others when he was as a lawyer and being involved in the individual rights and responsibilities part of the Bar Association. Mom and Dad both always volunteering and helping others, and they really taught us how important that is, while at the same time balancing out taking care of yourself. So they did a good job showing us how you can do both.
Together, my favorite quality of Papa Jim and Mama Khaki is their spirituality. The one thing that I can always count on from both of them is a bedrock of faith and spirituality that guides their love for us, their guidance for us, their faith. And it's something that Tim and Timmy and I experience with them a lot that's really special and very deep. And it means a lot to us.
I have two. One is their creativity, and they just have the creativity to create art and scrapbooks. It's cool, and it makes me feel like they're able to do something. And the second one is their imagination, because a lot of times some artists get their imagination from something. A lot of times when I go to their house or they come over to our house, they always show us art that they've created, and it shows their imagination, and a lot of times their imagination is really amazing, beautiful, or just cool.
My favorite quality of Papa and Grandma would probably be that in any situation they always keep calm, especially even when something seems bad or oh no, what are we gonna do now? They always seem to say, well, we'll just keep going and let's just keep moving on. So it's kind of nice to be with people that don't dwell on the past and just say, well, that just happens sometimes, and and so they just keep on going, and I think that's a good quality to have.
So I have two qualities that really stand out in my mind for both of them, and they both kind of go hand in hand for both Grandma and for Papa. The first one is just fun. I mean, they always have such a good time, no matter what they're doing, no matter who they're doing it with, and what's going on outside, inside, at the beach, in Paris, and Mammoth, and baseball games, wherever it might be. Just all about fun. So having that quality in both of them is amazing, and seeing how it plays out, and it's made their lives so rich as well. The other one that stands out, really, I think it goes hand in hand with both of them, is just compatibility. I think they've shown how it's so important to be compatible and to work together on things and compromise on things and have fun on things and do what you want to do, but really make sure that everybody is doing it together as a group, as a team, that everybody's kind of going the same direction. So those are the two traits that really impress me about both Papa and Grandma.
I think my favorite characteristic or quality of Grandma is that she can somehow find a way to talk to anyone, and whenever you're with Grandma somewhere and you'll look away and you look back and she's holding someone's hand, talking to them, laughing, and you walk away, you're like, Grandma, who is that? And she's like, oh, it's just Irene, I just met her. And it's just really cute. She's really nice to everyone. And then Papa, just whenever you say Papa, you think of his voice and how he's just always calm in all situations, and it's always nice to you feel comfortable when you're with him, and that's always good.
I think the favorite characteristic of my mother is the dedication to helping others. She's always been doing that, and to the point that it became natural. That's something that is who she is. And then I think for my father, it is the virtue of hard work, and also the idea that we're here to take our talents and use our talents as much as we can in as many ways we can.
The best lesson that I've learned from them is to just take time to enjoy life and appreciate the small things that other people wouldn't notice.
So I learned from both of them how to be in the world, right? To be enthusiastic and be trustworthy, great combination. And then in terms of specific lessons, I remember Mom and I was living in Washington, D.C. on my internship when I was in college, and she was reading a book about mindfulness. This is a long time ago. I mean, I know mindfulness has probably been around thousands of years, but we were just learning about it here. And I was stressing about something that was going on, and she said, what are you doing right now? And I said, oh, I'm doing the dishes. She goes, just do the dishes. And then from Dad, I always felt like he thought I could do anything. I mean, what a great thing for your dad to think about you. But he demonstrated this too, you could do anything, but not just waiting for the world to give it to you, go work hard.
So the lessons that I've learned from both Papa and Grandma really kind of go hand in hand. It's really all about following your passion. With Papa, he had such a great career working as an attorney and loved it so much, but he didn't let himself stay in the role too long. And once he realized that it wasn't very fun anymore, it wasn't very engaging, he decided to take those skills and use them someplace else by becoming a federal magistrate. And then after doing that for a while, then became a professor and sat on the board over at Cal Western as well. And so just finding ways to continue using the skills that he had and expertise, but doing it in a way that still that he still had a passion for, which was very, very impressive. And the same with Grandma. I mean, all the things that she did in her life, also with teaching and then spending so many years raising the kids, but then also spending so much time in the volunteer world as a docent working in museums. Everything she did was all around passion and what she loved, and had such a great time doing it. And then she decided that when it got a little bit too much and not quite as fun anymore, and she had more fun going to a museum as a visitor versus as a tour guide, then she stopped doing that and moved on to something else. So both of them have done an amazing job of showing me the importance of following your passion and your career for your whole life.
The best lesson I've ever learned would be from both of them, and that is that beyond the fact that the reason why we were put on earth is to dedicate yourself to your family and to have the family be the best it can be, but in the way that can have the most fun. So I have to say that my motto, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right, comes from my parents. I think I get the fun comes from my mom, and I think the doing it right comes from my father. And then if you have something to blame, it's always the earthquake's fault.
The best lesson that I've learned from Jim and Kathleen is that love conquers all. That it doesn't matter what you have for obstacles or challenges or what you're going to face in life, because things happen in life and you can't always guarantee that you're going to be able to have the perfect life or the perfect job. But if you rely on the love of the person that you're married to and your family, and that you rely on the family, anything, you can take care of anything, you can scale any heights. And that's the role that they've also, I think, set with Tim and for me and with Timmy, and it's been an amazing role model.
I think the thing that I like the most that Papa has taught me is to like be a gentleman and be like respectful, and I don't think I'll ever forget that. And I think Grandma has taught me to be patient with situations and always like trust that everything's gonna work out.
I think the best lesson that they taught me is to always be creative. When I'm usually like down on something, I'm always using my head to be creative and do drawings, and being creative that they taught me was always see what you're doing and then trying to make that whatever you want it to make it. And I think being creative is one of the best qualities of a person, because if they're not really creative, they kind of have like a dull life.
I think from Papa, I learned a lot about how to be a good person and the importance of truth and honesty.
Okay, so important lessons I've learned from my parents. One of them that I think is super important, my mom always taught me, even though some of the teachings from the church, for example, were to always put God and others first. This is kind of like what I was talking about before with the qualities. Learning how to take care of yourself and to listen to your own voice that tells you what you're okay with, what you're not okay with, what your needs are, and to always take care to consider your feelings, so you take care of yourself really well. And I just have to tell this one because I think it's so funny. A lesson I learned from my dad was kind of about how he gave me permission in a way to kind of, as I was growing up, to be a teenager. We were at Mammoth and we were riding on the chairlift, and he looked at me, I don't remember how old I was, probably 12, or maybe 13. He looked at me and he said, I know that you're not supposed to cuss and stuff, but sometimes when you do it, it feels really good, huh? And I said, yeah. And then when we arrived at the top, we got off the chairlift and he goes, let's haul ass. And then we skied down the mountain. I'm like, he is so cool. Anyway, it was his way of kind of giving me permission to grow up and be a teenager, and it's a great memory, and it was kind of a fun lesson too.